Mighty good, mighty good. I love barbecue.
Barbecue TV.
Hi, I'm Kurt Kegler. I'm the president of Stubbs Legendary Kitchen here in Rome, Georgia at the Roman Roast River Festival with our folks from Austin, Texas. We brought up our large cooking trailer, which we pull across the country. We're serving free chopped beef brisket sandwiches and sausage today, smothered in our all-natural Stubbs barbecue sauces. We've got quite a few different flavors. We're proud to be a sponsor of the first annual Roman Roast here on the river, and very appreciative of all the wonderful folks here in Rome that have been so hospitable to us. We've had quite a good reception. We've had folks that have been registering for some free Stubbs gear and things like that. And of course, our folks in the kitchen behind me have been real busy serving everybody some of our delicious barbecue. We come to Rome actually via Austin, Florida, Atlanta, and we go to Charlotte next with this vehicle. Part of what we call Stubbs Feed the World tour in our 2010 version. When Stubb was alive, he used to tell everybody that he was born hungry. He wanted to feed the world. So at Stubbs, our way of kind of being true to who Stubb was and what Stubb was all about, and in our way of trying to give back a little bit to all the wonderful communities across the country that buy Stubbs and at their local grocery stores. We partner with homeless organizations across this country. We'll be at probably 45 or 50 different homeless organizations this year, and we feed homeless people and we feed hungry people. And I think that's the good thing about food, and the good thing about being in the food business is it's a way to touch everybody and to bring some passion, a little bit of love and happiness to people's lives that would otherwise maybe be a little bit hungrier than they are. But we're very appreciative to everybody here in Rome. We're looking forward to a wonderful day today. It's a beautiful, beautiful weather, beautiful sunny day, not as hot as yesterday, so we're real happy about that. And we look forward to coming back here to Rome very soon.
Overall, I thought it was a pretty decent group of brisket. The first one had a good taste to it. It seemed like it was very well cooked. The taste had a little bit too much, maybe chili powder or cumin was a little obvious. It didn't exactly blend in with the rest of it, and maybe a little bit heavy on the beef stock or beef bouillon, something along those lines. But overall, a pretty good piece of brisket. The second piece, I guess it's low quality meat, and I gave this one a very low score. I think it was way overcooked, and it fell apart. It may be just starting with low quality beef. We don't see a lot of overly cooked brisket, but that's kind of what it was. The second one and the third one and the fourth one were all well cooked. I thought the third one was just a little bit dry. There was a couple of them, I believe it was the third one and maybe the fourth one that I thought were a little bit salty, a little too much salt in it. And overall, I thought the fifth one was a pretty good one, just all the way around.
One, I thought it was a little dry, and the taste was fine. Two was extremely mushy. I do think the large part was the cut of the beef, but also the way it was cooked, and the mushiness factor was just so overwhelming you really couldn't even focus on the taste, because texturally it was just so unpleasant in your mouth. Three, it did have a nice sauce, but it was also, I think, a little just too dry. Fourth was my favorite. I thought the seasoning was great, but I also thought it was could have been cooked a little less. It was a little dry. And on five, I thought it was just okay, and once again, I like it a little bit more tender.
Number one had a good taste to it, and it was good and tender. It was my favorite. Number two, it must have been a bad piece of meat, and it wasn't cooked long enough to render all the fat out of it. The rest of them were very good, I thought.
Okay, number one, well-cooked piece of meat. The flavor, the sauce that you used was a little overpowering. Number 2, it's either a Wagyu or I'm not sure what's going on with the meat, but need to cook the fat so it render. Whichever way you're going there, that's fine. Number 3 was tasted well, well cooked. Number 4, probably the favorite of the bunch, just very basic representation of brisket, the way it's supposed to taste, the way it's supposed to be cooked. Number 5, I'm not sure what you're injecting with, but it is overpowering the taste of the meat, and it's all about the meat.
Number 1 I found to be a little bit spicy, a little bit strong. Number 2 was definitely fatty and very too soft and mushy. Number 3 overall very good. Number 4 was my preference of all of them, pretty standard, pretty typical, what you'd expect for brisket. Number 5 was good, but a little bit strong in the taste.
Number 1 I thought was cooked very well. I think that either the cumin or chili pepper was a little overwhelming, almost bitter, but overall it was a well-cooked piece of meat. Number 2, very mushy. It was unpalatable, and I couldn't get beyond that to give it a flavor rating. Number 3 was cooked well. Tenderness was there, but it almost had a pickled flavor to it, almost too much vinegar. Number 4 was probably my favorite. Texture was there, the flavor was there. And number 5, it was cooked well. It was tender, but the injection was a little overpowering.